This is Steve Lentini, and I'm your host for Different Thinking for Different Times, Season 1, Episode 14. So, the previous 13 episodes have had a lot to do with developing a level of thinking above your thinking. And today we're going to talk about how to take that thinking and manifest the life that you desire, and to have more joy and satisfaction in every moment. Because it's mindfulness and presence and developing that level of thinking above your thinking that keeps you more often in the present moment. Because after all, it's here. So let's talk about manifesting the life of your dreams. I've worked, currently I have a client who's been with me for 19 years. And he was a project manager for a painting company, and he couldn't write down that he wanted to make $100,000 a year. In fact, he passed me a napkin that I had given him. I said, write down what you want. And he passed it back, and he had a number less than $50,000 a year. And I said, no, I don't believe you. I passed it back. He wrote down 75,000, and I said, no, I don't believe you. And I actually said something a little more forceful and maybe not appropriate. And then he wrote down, after the third pass, $100,000 a year. And I said, that's a start. And I think at the time he was less than 30 years old. So I understand it, but he was afraid. He was afraid to say what he really wanted. And that is something that is key to manifesting the life you desire. Napoleon Hill talked about it in his book, Think and Grow Rich. Desire is the key, is having a desire. It's like the admiral that delivered his troops to the army troops to the shores, and the general, and they ordered the ships burned after the troops got to the shore. So there they were with no choice. The ships were burned. They were either going to win that battle or die. And that desire has to be in you for whatever it is you want. And that you will do it no matter what, no matter what. And that takes a level of thinking above your thinking, and I'll tell you why. Your brain will invite you to quit at the first sign of difficulty, the second sign of difficulty, the third or fourth sign, all the challenges that come along to starting anything. Thomas Edison had very little formal education, and yet he built the dictaphone, he built the light bulb. But he had a desire to keep going, and he failed thousands of times. But he didn't view it that way. He just said, each time I just figured out how not to make something, right? How not to make the recording device that eventually became called the dictaphone. How not to make a light bulb. And he just kept going. And he had the desire to build those devices, to make humanity better, to help humanity. He wasn't in it for the money. He had these ideas, and that it would help humanity. Napoleon Hill goes on to tell the story of the man who went searching for gold. He heard there was gold in Colorado. He went searching for gold. He found some gold on a plot of land that he purchased. He went home, told his family, all excited, friends, family. They invested quite a bit of money. For this guy, it was all his money. And they bought mining equipment. They got 3 or 4 carloads of ore. They did pay back the mining equipment, but then the mine went dry. And after some period of time, he quit. He gave up. He didn't have a burning desire to see it through. He sold the equipment to a junk man, a scrap man, who decided to leave the equipment there on the site, called in a geologist. He got help with the mine, and they found the richest gold vein in the history of Colorado at that time. The man quit, which meant he did not have the desire to keep going. like Thomas Edison or Henry Ford. Henry Ford wanted a V8 engine. His engineers told him no, and he just kept saying, yes, make me one. The engineers told him we can't. We went to the drawing board. There's just no way to cast a V8 block in one piece in a V. We can cast a straight 8, which they already had, and Ford said, no, I want a V8. Figure it out. They developed it. They built it. So there's many stories of people that have fallen short, quit just before the finish line, and that's one key to having the life that you want. Now, there are others, but one of the biggest keys is to have a desire and to reverse in your small-minded brain this following equation. You want to stop believing what you see and instead start believing in something because you'll see it. So how the universe works is believe something, believe it deeply, and you will see it. You can picture it daily, which I've talked about, the picturing power of the mind. And remember, I died on November 18th, 2002. So this week was my 17th birthday since that day that I died. And I went from here, which is a place, to there, which is a place of the infinite. And the rules that exist in the infinite are very different than the rules that exist here. And there is no small-minded, limited thinking there. There with the infinite, there with the life force, there with God, there with the divine, there with the Buddha, there with the Christ consciousness, there with Muhammad, there with Abraham. It doesn't matter what you call it. There are no Hindus or Jews or Christians or Muslims, let alone different sects fighting each other. There's one life force that wants us to succeed like you want your children to succeed. Where do you think that feeling comes from? It comes from our universal mother and father, and they are one. There were no sexes. There were no races. There was nothing from here there. And I can tell you it's a place. It's amazing. Way beyond the acorn brain that I call it, the small-minded brain that we think with here on Earth. And we need that so that we can learn and grow. We develop by understanding our opposites, by understanding those that bug us and bother us and move us because we disagree with them. They're a gift. And for you to live the life that you want, you have to have first a burning desire to have it and believe that you will see it. So you begin to picture it before it happens and feel what it feels like to arrive at your destination, because you will if you don't quit short of the finish line. I can tell you, you will. And so this young man who couldn't write $100,000 down on a napkin went on to make $150,000, $250,000 multiple times. And then I had a sense he was holding back again. Like those days he was writing $45,000 on a napkin. And it turned out he wanted to be a CEO. And I said, great. And today, and it took about 6 years to happen, but he never let go of the desire because I was coaching him to continue to have that desire and not worry about how it was going to happen. Today, he's CEO of a company, doing very well. Not without his challenges, not without work to continue to do, because that desire in the human body, we have that small-minded brain, that little fucker that I call it. We have that brain, that limited thinking, that voice that says, who, you? It's not going to be you. That voice that says, quit. It's too hard. That voice that says, oh, look at those people that are winning and you're not winning. That voice is the voice that you're working to rise above. That's where you develop the level of thinking above your thinking. You dismiss that voice and you keep going no matter what in the direction of your dreams. And you can do it. You will live the life that you dreamed of, as Henry David Thoreau once said. Keep going and you will live the life you've dreamed of. And it takes a force of will to be awake enough to stay the path and not quit just 3 feet short of your goal mine. Keep going. If you have questions, Steve@stevelentini.com, Steve@stevelentini.com. If you'd like to come tell your story of persisting, of how you reached your goals and you persisted through challenges and you've overcome that acorn brain. If you'd like to come and have me interview you about your near-death experience or your time on the other side, I'm fine to do that. I love the opportunity to do it. And if you'd like to invite me to come speak anywhere, let's talk. You can certainly, I'm glad to come tell you the story of being here one second and gone the next, and how that certainly impacted and changed my life. Steve@stevelentini.com. Thank you.